So before I actually show you what's inside or what these figures look like, can we talk about this box? Because there is a lot going on and I'd like to show you frame by frame or image by image. We got April O'Neil here looking a bit tan and her arm completely burnt to a crisp from the looks of it. Now that's more of a problem with the printing on my box, so I'll let that go, but her face could not be more unimpressed at what is going on in the background. Her hand, for some reason, is sticking out, I guess implying to stop whatever you're doing, but at the same time in a very displeased manner. Which, by the way, speaking of her hand, she's kind of spoken for. Apparently this April O'Neil got married at some point. Her jumpsuit is 2 sizes too large for her. Kind of makes her look a little wonky in certain areas. Her pose is very weird, and she's not doing a very good job at reporting at whatever's going on. Her hair, which I will give her credit. Her hair right there is on point. Apparently, fun fact, judging by this image, Raphael is apparently an avid pole dancer, and judging by his face, he is very eager to put on a very passionate show for his fellow brothers, Shredder and April O'Neil over there. Which, by the way, looking at his little stubby finger, I don't think that's supposed to be there, or I mean, it's not supposed to be that small. It should be wrapped around the pole, much like this finger, but for some reason the perspective makes it look like it is a very tiny finger. Leonardo here, by the way, is in fact, or looks like he is choking the chicken, metaphorically, with his katana in such a very obscene pose. But of course, the katana is beyond the thigh, so I guess it doesn't really count. But still, if I were to do this, it kind of looks very obscene. Moving on. Here, who doesn't even look like Shredder. This looks like a cosplayer dressing up as Shredder. Happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. The turtles here mistake him for the real Shredder. Decide to beat the shit out of him. And April O'Neil here is, in fact, the reason why her hand is out. She's trying to stop these fools from hurting this poor cosplayer. In fact, it looks like he's already in pain. It looks like he ate some bad Mexican food and he's got the shits and he's got to go. He's got the look of despair. Please, somebody save me from this horrible situation. Yes, really, that Michelangelo and Donatello are the only two normal people or normal turtles in this image, except for the fact, if you look at where Donatello is looking, he is looking way off base. He's not even paying attention to anything. He is in his own little world, ready for action for whatever reason. Where are you looking, Donnie? Where are you looking? That just leaves Michelangelo, who is in fact the most normalist character. That's not a real word, but I'll just say it, the most normalist character in this image, where everyone else has a story to tell. Except the only minor thing is that his thighs should not be protruding out of his front shell like that. I cannot unsee that. Thank you for the imagery, Michelangelo. Anyways, let's get on to what's inside the box. Hey, how's it going, fellow Trojans and loyal vassals? Today I'm just going to be taking a real quick look at these NECA turtle figures. They are actually San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. I found out about these guys at the very last minute. They costed me quite a pretty penny. They were actually also selling a second set with Shredder and 3 Foot Clan members. There was a purple, orange, and gray, I believe. And I really wanted to get them, but I couldn't shell out the money. So instead I just opted to go for the turtles, because I don't know, I just feel like they would probably be a little bit more harder to find if I didn't get them first. And most likely, most of you have already seen what these look like or whatnot from other reviewers or whatnot. But I just want to take a look at these guys real quick. This was supposed to be at the top part of the arcade cabinet, and the sides here actually have artwork from the side of the cabinet, which I think that's pretty cool. So let's go take a look at that real quick, and then I'll show you what's inside. So here's a quick look at the side of the box, and this is actually complete night and day, literally, of the from this side. Because on this side, as you can clearly see, it is daylight. The turtles should not be out in the daylight. I mean, here Raphael and Leo got the right idea, but Donnie is just sitting out in the middle of the street for some reason. Isn't even worried he's gonna be hit by a car, just chilling, eating some pizza. Michelangelo is for some reason lassoing onto something in the sky. I don't exactly know where, because I don't know, the perspective is kind of off. It makes me think that there is nothing he is swinging off from. But there's that. April, I'm not exactly sure if it's the same April from over there, but she looks way more happier and less tan, and still married, by the way. Jumpsuit still 2 sizes too large. For some reason, she's recording something, and in a very awkward position. That does not look like very comfortable to take a shot in. I'm not exactly sure what you're thinking, April, but that looks uncomfortable. Which, the only thing left is, why the heck is Raph biting on his thigh? I don't know. Moving on. Then on the back is probably my favorite part, which has each of the turtles' pose and how they appeared in their character select screen when you're playing the game. And I did check, and that is exactly how they look. So that's pretty cool. Moving on. Alright, now let's take a really good look at what's inside the box. Holy crap. Excuse my language, but man, that's another thing I completely forgot to mention, is that while they are also based on their, when they said they're based off their arcade appearance, they literally mean it, because if you, I'll show you the actual figure in a close-up, but if you can kind of tell, they're actually pixelated at certain parts of their body, because again, they're supposed to be actual like pixelated figures of the sprites, if that makes sense, and that's really amazing. I don't know, I'm speechless, because from the image that I saw, I didn't think much of it, but up close they actually look really cool. I mean, granted, there's still plastic in between us. I need to get these guys out and see what they look like. From the background, it looks like there's some a screenshot from the game. I'll have to see that in a bit. Also, in the bottom screen, this is another really cool, like, if you want it, I think this is like probably a really cool display piece, just to have it like this, for like people who like to keep them in boxes. This is a really cool display piece. But in the bottom, as you can kind of see, I'm not exactly sure if this is the exact layout. I can only assume so from the arcade, because I never played the actual original arcade TMNT. I played the Turtles in Time, which, by the way, I hope NECA makes Turtles in Time figures. That would be really cool. Have them all like color coordinated from their like original kind of colors. That would be pretty cool. But here you have their the button layout, how the arcade cabinet would look like in the bottom. That's pretty cool. Jump attack, jump attack, jump attack. You know, it kind of blows my mind how like the original this game and Turtles in Time are like the definitive turtle games. Like, there've been other turtle games obviously, but like they just, I don't know, they tried new things, and it's just like, I don't know, Turtles seems like it should always just be a beat 'em up. I don't know. I haven't tried the new Platinum game they released, but so I don't know if that's any good. So there's that. Now let's see how these figures look in person. I think after 10 years, or no, not 10 years, like 5 years of collecting figures here, that you'd think I'd get like some sort of professional opening, but I've always just used kind of like a random razor I usually find. I need to get on some sort of fancier stuff. But anyways, let's get inside this thing. Let's if I can put this camera down. So this is actually the backdrop that was in the back of the figures, and I took it out, and this is what the result is, and it's pretty cool. It's a nice little display piece. I don't think I'm gonna have this like this permanently. I'm just gonna keep this in its box, but I guess if you want to take one shots, that'd be pretty cool. There's a fire hydrant being broken. I believe this is from the first stage, if I'm not mistaken. As you can see, Leonardo already lost 1 life, but he has the most points. Everyone else has 4 lives. Mikey has the least amount of points. So there's that. Let's get on with the figures. And here we have each of the turtle out of the package. And man, do they look way more impressive in person than behind the plastic. I'm still like so like I like the figures themselves, and it's gonna take me a while to actually get used to the pixelated look of them. If I were like if I knew how to customize figures, you know, with paint applications, I'd probably repaint these guys either solid colors, or their original color-oriented colors. No, color-oriented, is that what I meant to say? Surprisingly, each one of them, at first glance, I thought all the heads were just like the same, but with just slight variations. If I can just show you real quick, Michelangelo actually has a smiling face mold, whereas Raph here, his is actually frowning or like serious. See that? So I just thought that was interesting that they're not all exactly the same. The face, like the eyes to me look a little bit like they're dilated, like they got a little too much heroin and now their eyes, their pupils are like wonking out or something, but that's just me. The paint is nice, however on my Michelangelo you can see some of the paint kind of rubbed off on his wrist. Speaking of wrist, I kind of wish that the pixelated look moved onto the arms and the feet, because they kind of stop, see that, midway, rather than we're not focused, rather than continuing on. So that kind of bothers me. I don't know why that they stopped the pixelated look just there and there. Some minor details that all the turtles have is that there's actually some skin. You can see right there some skin folds going on at the back of their neck. That's actually pretty interesting. Some attention to detail where no one would probably look. Also at the lower, underneath their arms, you can kind of see like pixelated, I guess, rib cage. I don't know what's underneath the turtle, but something like that. So I thought that was interesting, because I don't think you actually can see that in the actual sprite of the turtle in the game. So I think that's pretty cool. Anything else? Just take a quick look. Because, you know, from the back, it kind of looks weird having the dark green. But again, it's going to take me a while to get used to. As for articulation, I will say this, that a lot of these, like, specifically in the shoulder parts, it's very, like, the plastic is very, like, I almost feel like I'm going to break it. See this? I kind of just winged it and applied not too much force that I would break it, but just enough to move it. But they are very stiff. I would suggest using the, I believe it's called the, what's it called, the hair dryer, where you warm up the plastic with hot air, or you can put it under, run it under some hot water to make it the PVC much more soft. Speaking of which, his front of his shell, this part is actually made of soft PVC, which I thought that was pretty interesting. As for articulation, there's not too much crazy stuff going on, but there is one specific area right here that surprised me. But at the head, he has a ball joint, both ball joint at the lower part and the actual head. You can look up for that much, down. Pretty simple stuff, so I won't have to show you each and every one because they're all the same. And at each of their bandanas actually articulate because they're on this little ball joint, I believe. Or no, I think it's just either way you can move it. It's pretty good. You know, it's kind of weird. At first, when I looked at these figures behind the plastic, it kind of looked like their eyeballs could be movable, but that's not the case. That would have been pretty cool. Can you imagine if you can move their eyes? Because, you know, it kind of looks like you can move them. That would have been pretty cool. At the shoulder, you can move it upwards like this. It is, like I said, on each and every one, the stiffness varies, but on, like I guess specifically on mine, Donatello was very hard to move, but if you can move it, it's, you know, you can get some cool poses. You have a cut at the bicep right there. I kind of wish the elbows were double jointed, in my personal opinion, kind of like his feet right here, which are double jointed, but you can only get so far. And his wrist is on a hinge. Can you kind of see it? Right there. So at the lower part of the legs, what impresses me, because I thought for sure he would not be able to get his legs far out because of this piece, and but because it is soft PVC, and because of the way this is you can actually get it quite a bit. Look, you can actually have him sitting down. That's actually very impressive. And I really like that about this figure. And at the actual leg, you can actually rotate it like this, and it is very, very stiff. Aside from the shoulder, also this piece right here, right there, where you can move it like this, it is very stiff. On my Donatello, it was like nearly impossible to move. So there's that. You can move it out quite a bit. See this? So there's that. The actual like hip is actually on a swivel. You can move it slightly so you can kind of see it from this angle. It's very slight, but you can move it. And as you saw, his knee is double jointed. There's that. And his actual foot, I believe, is on a ball joint. I can't tell for sure, but you can rock it back and forth. And so there's that. Alright, and there you go. So real quick, let's go over the accessories. Now what I think is pretty cool is that each turtle came with their own set of hands. However, because they are all the same color, you can actually swap out each individual hand with each turtle, which I think that's pretty cool and adds to the Articulation Express thumbs up hands. Very appropriate. With open palm hands. And there you go. Raphael came with these distinct looking hands for holding his size in a certain way. Moving on to the weapons. Leonardo's katanas here. Nice and smooth. I really like the feel of these. Michelangelo's nunchucks, which has this real like metal material here for the chains. And it does have a gimmick where you can actually swap out one of the nunchuck pieces. This one right here. See if I can see take this off, peg it in, and you can have him spinning his nunchuck around. That's pretty cool. I kind of wish it came with a second set of these. It would have been pretty cool. Here's Donatello's bow staff, which is made of very soft PVC for some reason, and it has this little thing right here where you can take it off and slip it in between his hand right there for easy access. Is that? We're not focused, I apologize. And Raphael's size. Nice. And finally, they came with this final accessory, which I think is pretty adorable, is the little pizza power-up in the game where they recover all their health. However, I really, really wish this was actually on a hinge, so you can close this, because to me, I don't know, personally, this is the money shot. And I think this is the cool part. And if I'm not mistaken, this is actually, isn't it supposed to be closed, the pizza box? I'm not sure. I haven't played the game in a while, so I don't know. I just kind of wish this was on a hinge so you can close it. But yeah, that is everything. These turtles are pretty cool. I suggest if you're really into these guys, like the turtles in general, I'd say get them now, because there's a good chance they're going to go up in price, just like the original NECA ones. However, there's a good chance there's probably going to be bootleg versions of these walking around at some point in the future, and they're probably going to be cheaper then. That's just, I don't know, that's just something I want to point out. Alright, Leonardo, I think this video's over. Do you agree? Time to eat some pizza? Alright, I'll see you guys later.